Students, today we are going to discuss the chapter thermodynamics. This is one of the most important chapter as far as the number of questions are concerned in the NEET examination. If you will see the question bank of NEET for last 10-12 years, you will be finding most number of questions from this chapter. This is an easy chapter, but at the same time very important as well. So let's start. First topic that I am going to brief is first law of thermodynamics and thermal equilibrium. What is thermal equilibrium? Suppose there are two bodies. First body is at temperature T1, okay, and the second body is at temperature T2, and T1 is greater than T2. So in the absence of any external agent, heat will flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. Whenever we say heat, it itself means flowing energy. Stored energy, static energy cannot be termed as heat. Heat means heat flow. In the absence of external agent, see, heat can be flown from lower temperature to higher temperature as well, but external agent have to perform some work there. That's why I am saying in the absence of external agent, heat is flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature. Till when? Till the temperature of both the bodies becomes equal. Temperatures become equal, and this is called thermal equilibrium. There is a law on this thermal equilibrium as well called zeroth law of thermodynamics. Like if A is in thermal equilibrium with B, okay, or B is in thermal equilibrium with C, say this temperature is T3. So if A is in thermal equilibrium with B, B is in thermal equilibrium with C, so A must be in thermal equilibrium with C. What is this law? This is called zeroth law of thermodynamics. This is based on thermal equilibrium. Now after this law, we will decide first law of thermodynamics. See, what is the first law? It is based on conservation of energy, but how is this law is being explained? See here, when we talk about thermodynamics, there are three variables: pressure, volume and temperature, okay, and they indirectly represent the state of a gas. Pressure, volume, temperature, state variables indirectly defining the state of the gas, okay. Whenever these variables will change, the isolated, any one of them cannot change. Minimum two variables will change. You cannot change pressure only, you cannot change volume only, you cannot change temperature only for a gas. At least two or all three will change, okay. So suppose this thermodynamic coordinates, pressure, volume, temperature, these are changing, and these are changing to new coordinates, say P dash or V dash or T dash, okay. These are changing. Do remember, you cannot change only one of them, at least two will change. The process through which these variables are going to change is called thermodynamic process. Thermodynamic process could be any process, and in thermodynamic process, whether it could be any process, in all the processes total energy remains constant. In any thermodynamic process, total energy remains constant, and this is called first law of thermodynamics. Now we will see the expression for the first law of thermodynamics, that is heat exchange is equal to change in internal energy plus the work done. in this expression you must be very sure about the sign convention. Like for heat, you can see heat exchange, the formula is Nc delta T, C is the molar specific heat capacity, and it depends upon the conditions. Like if pressure is constant, it could be Cp. If pressure is not constant, then according to that process C will be defined, and heat input heat is positive. This is the sign convention for this. Delta U, change in internal energy, is NCV delta T. This change in internal energy, this does not depend upon the path taken. It depends upon the initial and the final points only. So if initial and final points are same, it doesn't matter through what path the points have been completed, from what path you are reaching the second point from the first point. The delta U will remain constant, and CV delta T. There are more formula for this, like you can write this as N, and CV is degree of freedom by 2 into R delta T. You can write like this also, or you can write N CV is R upon gamma minus 1 delta T. Okay, these all are depend in question. If gamma is given, you can use this. Degree of freedom, if you know, like gas nature is given monoatomic, triatomic, polyatomic, you can write F here, but this is also always CV delta T, and CV delta T at constant volume, and work done by the gas. In physics thermodynamics, gas is ideal gas. In that case, you can write work as P into delta V, or if it is non-uniform, then integrate this, and you can use PV as NR delta T as well, because the gas is ideal gas. So we will see one question asked in NEET 2013 on the basis of the expression of first law of thermodynamics. See, you can see this is a PV curve, PV graph in thermodynamics. This is also called indicator diagram. Okay, so this is the indicator diagram. What is given in this indicator diagram? See, there are two processes. One is ABC and the second is ADC. There are two processes. First, see here, U at A is given as 10 joules. Internal energy at position A is known to you. Also, ADC, in this heat is 50 joule and work done in ADC is 20 joule. Okay, this is given in the question. These data are known to you. Also, ABCQ is 36 joule. This is also given. What is required? Required is ABC work in the process ABC. What we are going to use for this? The first law of thermodynamics, and this we will use for the process ADC. Okay, for ADC. What is the Q for ADC? This is 50. What is delta U? Delta U we will calculate. And what is work? Work is 20. So delta U in ADC is 30 joule. Okay. What is ADC? ADC D is insignificant because change in internal energy depends upon initial and final positions only. So from A to C, change in internal energy is what? It is 30 joules. Okay. Now come to the process ABC. For ABC, heat you can see is given as 36. And for ABC and for ADC, the delta U will remain same as the initial and the final points are equal, same in both these two processes. So we can write delta U as 30 and we can calculate delta W. So delta W in the process ABC can be written as 6 joules. Now we will see thermodynamic processes. Some work or slope, some equations that you have to memorize. You must be aware of many of them. The first is the isothermal process. Temperature remains constant. Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Hence, the indicator diagram you can see is the rectangular hyperbola. PV is constant, so P1 V1 is P2 V2. Slope for PV constant is minus P by V. Do remember this. You can say the slope is obtuse angle, so negative slope will be there. Slope, like for example, suppose at point A slope is required. So at A pressure is P naught, at A volume is V naught. So this is minus P naught by V naught. Okay. Work in isothermal process is 2.303 nRT log final volume upon initial volume. As pressure and volume are in inverse proportion, you can also write initial pressure upon final pressure here. Okay. Also see temperature is constant, so change in internal energy will be 0 there. So the first law of thermodynamics will be written as delta Q is delta W. Now see the second process, adiabatic process. There is no heat exchange. One thing that you must remember, in adiabatic process, heat exchange is 0, not the heat content. Okay, there is no heat exchange. It's not like heat is 0 there. PV gamma is constant and gamma is Cp by Cv, adiabatic constant. Molar specific heat at constant pressure upon molar specific heat at constant volume. Tv gamma minus 1 constant. In adiabatic process, all these three variables P, V and T, they are changing. So change of any two is given, like pressure volume is here, temperature volume is here, and you can see temperature pressure equation is this. All these three are important. Direct questions are being asked on these three equations. What is the slope of adiabatic graph? You can see adiabatic curve is also like this. If this is pressure graph, this is the volume indicator diagram. Okay, indicator diagram, it is also rectangular hyperbola, but slope of adiabatic is minus P by V. That was the slope of isothermal multiplied by gamma. So it is more steeper. More steeper means, see, suppose we have many graph like this. Okay, many graph like this. The top one, this, it will be isothermal. Okay, this is isothermal, and more steeper, these are the adiabatic with increasing gamma. So these all three are adiabatic, but with increasing gamma. What is increasing gamma? See, this is for monoatomic. Monoatomic with maximum gamma as 5 by 3. This is diatomic with gamma as 7 by 5, 1.4. And this is triatomic or polyatomic, you can say around 1.3 is the gamma. So if many curves are given, if you have to differentiate between the isothermal curve and the adiabatic curve, then the top one will be the isothermal and the steeper one will be the adiabatic. If more than one adiabatic is there, then the higher gamma will be the lower graph. The next process is isochoric process, volume constant. It is also called isometric, isochoric or isometric. Volume is constant, so obviously volume is not changing, work will be 0. Pressure is proportional to T, so P1 by T1 will be equal to P2 by T2. The graph will be like this. You can see volume is constant here and angle is 90 degree, so obviously slope, that is the tan theta, will be infinity. And the first law of thermodynamics will be like delta Q is delta U as delta W is 0. Similarly, now see the next process, isobaric. Pressure is constant here, pressure is constant, so volume will be proportional to the temperature. The indicator diagram is like this. You can see pressure is constant, so slope is 0. Now if slope is 0, pressure is constant, work will be there, P delta V. delta U is not 0 as temperature will change according to volume. So, delta Q is delta U plus P delta V. This is the first law of thermodynamics for this. Also cyclic process. This is an example, a demonstration for cyclic process. For cyclic process, delta U is 0 as the initial and final states are same. Okay, delta U is 0, change in internal energy. So, what is the first law of thermodynamics? Delta Q equal to delta W. One more thing on indicator diagram that I would like to explain. See, suppose we are calculating work, pressure, volume, and we are calculating work for some process like this. We know that the work done is area under the graph, V1 to V2, area under the graph. Okay. So, work done is area under the graph. This you must remember that the area enclosed between the thermodynamic graph and the volume axis should be there. So, if suppose in a question the vertical axis is the volume and horizontal axis is pressure and the same graph is given like this, then do not calculate this area. Then you have to calculate area on the vertical axis. This area will be your work. Okay, this area is your work. One more thing you can see here, we have just discussed the isochoric and isobaric. One thing that I would like to explain in isochoric, right, I am saying volume is constant. Volume is constant, that you also have to think as dV is 0. dV is 0. For example, suppose a process is like this, see, process is like this. So, initial volume A and the final volume B, these are obviously constant. Volume at A, suppose this volume is V, so volume of A is V, volume of B is V as well. So, obviously the change in volume between A and B is 0. But one thing you must notice here, if you will calculate area under the graph, this area under the graph is not 0. Okay? Hence, work is not 0. But for isochoric or isometric processes, work need to be 0, work must be 0. So, when we say volume constant, that does not mean initial and final volume, that means volume at every instant, every position, like volume is not changing. So, V constant means differential V, dV between any 2 points. On this line you can see dV is 0. Okay. There was a simple question in NEET 2017 to recognize for the thermodynamic process. Indicator diagram, PV diagram was given. You can see here 300, 500, 700, these are the isotherms. You have to actually recognize 1, 2, 3, 4, what kind of thermodynamic processes these are. Okay. An easy question. Process 1, you can see volume is constant. So, this is obviously isochoric. Process 4, pressure is constant. So, this is obviously isobaric. In 3 and 4, these two you can see both are what? Both are rectangular hyperbola. So, I explained when such two curves are there, the upper curve will be the isothermal and the steeper one will be the adiabatic. So, 3 is isothermal and 2 is adiabatic. One more interesting thing I would like to explain for this, suppose pressure volume graph is given like this. Okay. This is the point A and this is the point B. Okay. And temperature variation is required, how temperature is actually varying over there. So, if you will draw an isotherm here like this, you can see the isotherm, if any point here, can say at this point, any point here, like at this point same isotherm, this A is on isotherm 1 and again here C is on the same isotherm. So, obviously temperature of A and temperature of C must be same. Okay. So, temperature of A and temperature of C is same, but you can see In this diagram also, it is clear, you can see temperature is increasing upward. So if you will draw the second isotherm, its temperature will be greater. So if temperature is increasing upward, temperature is decreasing downward. So here the separation, the gap is increasing. So temperature first increases and then again decreases and becomes equal to A. So in such graph AB, if straight line is given, we can say temperature first increases, becomes maximum and then decreases. Okay. We can actually solve this question by mathematical expression also. See, this is AB. AB is a straight line and you can see the slope, negative slope. So we can write y equal to minus mx plus c. What is the variable on y axis? Pressure. Minus m v plus c is the intercept. This is the pressure volume relation over here. Okay. Since gas in physics thermodynamics study is ideal, so we can write P is equal to nRT by V. So T, while putting this expression here, T would be minus m V square divided by nR plus CV by nR. You can see, first see the graph. Temperature is in quadratic expression of volume and the coefficient of quadratic is negative. So the quadratic will be something like this. This is the temperature volume graph. So you can see temperature is first increasing, becomes maximum and then again decreases. So temperature first increases and then decreases if indicator diagram is given like a straight line like this. Okay. One more thing, for maximum temperature, you can use the concept of maximum minima, dT by dV equal to 0. You will get a volume from here, find volume, and that volume, say that volume is V naught. So at that volume V naught, temperature is maximum. You will put V naught here, you will get the maximum temperature and put that. So maximum temperature can be calculated. So in this question, there are many questions, many objectives. So you can see in this expression, temperature is in quadratic expression with volume and moreover the coefficient of quadratic is negative. So we can draw this graph, temperature volume graph. From this graph also, this is evident that temperature is first increasing and then decreasing. Also, when you will differentiate this temperature with respect to volume dT by dV and equate it to 0, you will get this volume V naught. And by putting this volume V naught in temperature, you can calculate the maximum temperature. So many questions can be asked on this. Like first, you can see in this graph, temperature of which isotherm will be greater. So obviously the upper isotherm will be at higher temperature. Second, what is the variation of temperature? So this is first increases on a straight line, then decreases. What is that maximum temperature? At what volume is the maximum temperature? These are the set of such questions. But do remember the bottom line, when PV graph is given like this straight line, temperature first increases, then decreases. The next point for the thermodynamics questions is gamma for mixture of gases. Do remember the formula. CV mixture, this is being calculated on internal energy mixture concept, like U mixture is U1 plus U2. CV mixture is N1 CV1 plus N2 CV2 and so on upon N1 plus N2, where N1, N2 they are obviously number of moles. By Mayer's relation, we can use CP mixture as CV mixture plus R, or you can calculate CP mixture by this formula also, N1 CP1 plus N2 CP2. Gamma mixture, CP mixture by CV mixture. Or this is the formula, suppose N1 moles and N2 moles are the number of moles of two different gases. So what is gamma for that mixture? N1 plus N2 upon gamma mixture minus 1, N1 upon gamma minus 1 plus N2 upon gamma 2 minus 1. So if you know that gamma 1, gamma 2, N2, N1 values, you can calculate the gamma mixture. There was a question asked in 2013 on CP by CV, and the process was given as P proportional to T cube. Okay. See how to solve this. P is proportional to T cube, and from ideal gas you know that PV is equal to nRT. So what will be T? T will be PV by nR. So your equation there will be like pressure is proportional to PV upon nR raised to power 3. Okay. Now see P3, so it will be P upon P raised to power 3, and V raised to power 3 is equal to constant. Okay. So 1 minus 3, it will be P minus 2, V minus 3 is constant. If you will take minus 1 by 2 of LHS and RHS, because constant raised to power, any power it will be constant only. So pressure into volume 3 by 2 is constant. And from the adiabatic equation of pressure and volume, PV gamma is constant and gamma is Cp by Cv. So what is Cp by Cv here? You can see it's 3 by 2. Your option will be C. Okay, the next point is free expansion of gas. Free expansion means expansion of gas in vacuum. See this diagram. This is the gas in half of the volume and the wall are adiabatic. Since wall are adiabatic, delta Q is 0. In expansion in vacuum, nothing is opposing. There is no resistance. In that case, work done will be 0. See, volume is changing, but there is no opposition, there is no resistance. In that case, work done will be 0. So when a gas expands in vacuum, work done by gas is 0. So there is no work, there is no delta Q, there is no Q, then the internal energy and CVT, that will be constant. It means in free expansion, temperature is constant. So whenever free expansion is given or expansion in vacuum is given, temperature is constant. So you can use P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Okay. So if initial pressure say is P1 and you can see the gas in the half of the volume, so this is V by 2. P2, the final pressure is to be calculated, and when gas will expand to this entire container, the volume becomes V. So we can calculate here the final pressure as P1 divided by 2. So in this way, do remember that free expansion of gas takes place in vacuum, and when not here only, in any case, if you are performing a work, if a force is performing a work and someone is not opposing it, work done by that force will be 0.